Okay, so in this video we're going to be looking at some linear layouts. We're going to add some images and we're going to add some buttons. So we're going to make it look like what you see here. So so first of all, what we'll do is we'll create a new layout. So we'll right click on Layout, New, New XML, a new layout XML file. So just click on that, and you can leave it blank. Also, you can leave it as default, but your root tag, you want to make sure it says linear layout. So this is relative, you can just change that by saying linear, and just finish that. And we'll have our new layout. So it'll automatically be in design view. I'll just briefly go through linear layout. So we've got, you can have a linear layout horizontal and a linear layout vertical. Now, by default, if we go to the text view and just tidy up this text, so Control Alt L, and just reformat this. And by default, this layout will be a vertical layout. So as we saw there, sorry, a horizontal layout. So it's the horizontal and the vertical. Now the difference between the two is, like I say, by default it's horizontal, and I'll show you what the difference is between the two. So at the moment it's a horizontal layout. So if we grab, say, a button and we pop it in our window, it creates a new button. And if we want to add a new button, grab another one, we'll put it beside it. We can't put it underneath it. It wants to go horizontally. So I'll add another button. So it'll always lay the buttons out horizontally, and there's not enough room there, so it's squeeze the last one in. So we won't let me lay them out horizontally, vertically. So if you wanted to do it vertically, and if I just undo all those four buttons, if I go to activity, sort of layout, and our text, if I wanted that vertical, I'd have to say that it's orientation. So if I start typing orientation, then I'd have to say it's a vertical. So now if we go to design view and add buttons, there's one button, it'll place them vertically in a column. Won't let us add more than one column. You can essentially make it look like it's more than one column, but I couldn't place another button beside this. So if I put that there, it just won't let me. So there is a way around this. You can put layouts inside layouts. So if I just undo all these buttons, what I can do is I can put another layout inside this layout. So if I go back to this and I remove this, and so it's by default it's horizontal layout. So I've got a horizontal layout. What I can do is go to design and insert a linear layout, vertical. So I'll just pop that there. You can see it's there. I can adjust the width of that window, and I can put in another vertical layout. So there's two vertical layouts. We see up here, you can see our tree, component tree. So we have the master linear layout, and inside that linear layout are two vertical linear layouts. So inside our horizontal linear layout, we have two vertical linear layouts, which allows us to create rows of buttons or views. In this layout and in this layout, we can have separate views, widgets and buttons and so on. So if we look at what's done in the code, so we've got a main layout, master layout, and inside we have this layout here and this layout here. So I'm going to separate these two, just put in some spaces, and inside here we can be adding our buttons and our image views. So we want to replicate this. So it's quite easy. What we'll do is we'll go to design, we'll grab a plain text view, and we'll place that right in the center. See where it says center above there? That'll be to the left, that'll be to the right. Also we want a center. So there's our center. our first text view. We want another one this side as well. Let that center. So see how that looks like. There we are. So we've got two text views. I'll make the text slightly bigger so we can see it a little bit better. So text style, text size, and remember text size wants to be SP because we're dealing with fonts. So let's say 20, and go down to this text view. If I click on it, it highlights it, and we want this to be text size, again 20 SP. So there's our new text. We're just inside this one. We'll just pop player 1. Just player 1 and player 2. So we're getting there. So we've got player 1 and player 2. And there's a slight gap there because we have this padding bottom and padding top. So we can add that to our parent layout, as they're called. Let me just see if I can reformat this code so it lies a bit better. There we are. So it's just have an indentation here. So we'll have padding. Start type padding. Padding bottom, and we'll just say 60. Or we can use our dimensions. Dimension styles. Remember, we see in our values dimensions XML, activity horizontal and vertical. And they're both set to 16 dp, so we could use either, but we could just type 16 dp, and for our padding top 16 dp, and it's just offset it slightly so it's not hugging the edge. Okay, you see this Android weight sum equals 1. What the weight means is how much space is allocated in total. So the sum of the weight is 1. So the amount of the weight this takes up and the weight this takes up should equal to 1. So we can see here the layout weight is 0.5, so that's half. And this one here, this layout, is 0.5. So this layout will take up half, and this layout will take up half. I'll change that to 2.5. You can imagine what's going to happen. 2.5 and say 7.5 to make 1. So that's going to take up a quarter, and that's going to take up 3/4 of the screen. So let's put that back to 0.5. 0.5, so both half each. Again, we've got layout gravity in this text view here set to center horizontal. So what this does is whenever we start typing in that box, it will automatically center it. So whatever we type in that box will be center. Trouble is, if we start typing too much, you'll see if this box is bigger than this box, you see what starts happening. So we start typing, it starts getting bigger, it starts overtaking. So although this should take up half and this should take up half, it's not what's happening because this layout width is set to wrap content. Now we need to change that to match parent, and this one to match parent, and then that will always take up half no matter what's inside these views. So if we carry on typing, this width layout won't grow in size. What will happen is this height will just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So we'll always a bit too far. Okay, so we have player 1 and player 2. We don't want caps. Okay, so what do we want to do now? We're going to add some images. So simply go to our design view. In our widgets, we look for image view. There it is. So we grab an image view and just literally drag it below. It'll automatically place it there. It looks so small, but don't worry about that for now because we haven't defined anything as our source for our image. So although our image views are there they are. There's our image view tag, and and it's going to wrap content and wrap content, or whatever the image is, and it's assigned at this ID. I'll also go back to these IDs. These IDs basically specify to say that this box that's its name, that's its reference name. So if any of our code we want to reference in our Java code, if we need to reference these views, these text views and these image views, we need to tell it exactly which one we're talking about. So this is where we refer it to. We can call it anything we want. You can name it whatever you like, but try and keep it consistent. And then if you don't generate an ID and you use the design view, it generates its own drag a view in. It would give it its own generic identification. So that's its name essentially. That's what the program refers to it as. So we'll be looking at that in our later videos. Okay, so we've got our image view. Let's name this one image view, which is just here. You can't see it, but it is there. And we have this our image view in this layout, and it's here as well. It's called image view 3. And the reason why it's called image view 3 and image view 2 is because there's already a name assigned to image view 1 and image view 2 here in this other XML file we have. So it knows all the other XML files that it has. It knows it won't call anything the same name twice. So it knows. So the reason why it's called that image view with no number, image view 3, is because 1 and 2 are taken. So the next one we added before, and so on and so on. So we wanna put an image in. So we go to our image view. We'll just create a new line, and we want to start typing source src, and that's what we want. And it wants to allocate what image do you want to insert. So it's in our drawables file. It's our drawables folder, and these are all our images that we can use. So if I press enter, and what I can do then is if I press Control and space, and it gives me all the different things I can use. So there's our player 1 and player 2. These are the ones I want to use. Also you have all these. There you go, load icon. Player 1 hurt, player 2 hurt. So we'll use player 1. There's our player 1. There we go. And it's set to wrap content, so it'll adjust the size of the view to the size of the image. In this case, if I load up player 1, it's 300 by 300, which is a big file. Doesn't really need to be that big, but you could go into Paint or any photo manipulation software, and you can change the size of the image. Like I say, if you go look at our drawables, we have these 4 images here of the IC launcher for different folder, different device densities. So even for the extra high dots per inch, we click on that one, and that's 144. So we could adjust the size of our images. So let's close these down. So there's our image, and we want to do the same for this one here. So what we can do is go here, so copy and paste, but we don't want it player 2. We want player 1. We want player 2. So there's our 2 images. So we're getting there. Okay, so we want to add another little text view underneath to display the house. So pop that there, plain text view, pop that underneath. There we go. So it's inserted our new text views underneath our image views. And what's next? We've got a couple of buttons. There we are, a couple of buttons. So again, we go to design view, and we go for our button, and we'll pop one there, and we'll pop one there. Same the other side. So we've got 2 buttons on each side. So we look at our text view, and there's our 2 buttons. one there and one there, and on the other side one there and one there. And again, it's giving them automatically giving all these buttons 5, 6, 7 and 8, because 1, 2, 3, 4 were already taken on this side, on this XML file. So what we can do is we can change the text inside the buttons. So we'll just say punch for that one, and kick, and same down here for the other buttons, punch, kick. Okay, we notice I put punch and they're automatically caps because it defaults, by default it will set the image text inside the buttons to caps. If you don't want that, you can anywhere inside here we can just say what's it, text all caps, text all caps, and by default it's set to true, so we can say false and it will set it to standard whatever you put inside this box. So but we'll keep it as caps. So, and right, you see these lints, these where it's highlighting these lines. These are they're not errors. They're this is where Android's moaning, saying it's not happy, that things can be improved, or it's not a good idea to run use your app in these using these attributes the way they are. As you've seen before, saying that should be assigned a string. It's hard coded. Should be assigned a string. So we'll assign a string. Call it player one name, and work our way down through. This one here we want to leave because it's going to change. It's going to display the health. So we'll leave that as is. Go down to here. We'll give this assign a string. We'll call that button text punch. Okay, and same for this one, button text kick. Okay, and this one here, player 2 name. And that one's blank. This one we can use the same name because it's just a name, it's just the text displayed. So we can highlight that and go at string button text punch, and it will just put punch in. And same for this one. At string button text kick. Okay, so we're almost ready to run this now on our app, in our emulator. Sorry. The only difference is I want to use this layout. We've got two layouts, layout 2 and activity. Although they are the same, it's actually going to display at the moment. If I run it, it will display this screen, not this screen. And the reason for this, because we go to our main activity Java file, and on this on create method, it sets the content view to r.layout.activityMain. So resources layout activity main. It's going to load up this layout, and we want it to load up this layout. So all we need to do is just change that to start typing like layout 2, and it will load this layout. It will display this layout. So if we run this, it's a run app. And there's an event. Don't think. See what happens. So if First load, and activity is stopped, so our app's crashed. So if we go to our logcat, we can see why it's crashed. Let's just pull this open. So logcats. You need to use a theme with this activity. Yeah, I know what I've done. I've changed this minimum SDK. I think this was 14. I changed it to 17. Okay, so if you open up your, if you get the same error, you go to your build grader when you change this. I've set it to 17. And when you set it to 17, I think if I change it back to 14, it's going to say you need to sync now. So if you click on sync now, it will resync your the build. It'll automatically do it. And the reason for that is this extends action bar activity. It needs to extend activity. So if you have this, if it says extends activity, fine, leave it. But if it says extends action bar activity, just delete the action bar. That's going to ask, you see that then come up, it says I need to, what I need to do is import this activity into our imports. So if I click on it and it says Alt plus Enter, so Alt plus Enter, and it will import this activity. So that should, it's all to do with themes, and it's an older, or it was originally an older API. It's yeah. So if you've done that, if you change that, you should be able to run it now. Let's try that again. There we go. So there's our display. So that's what we see on our device. So we have everything. We have these buttons. They don't actually do anything. But what we're going to do is we're going to get it to whenever you press this punch button, and it's going to display a health, set the health. This is where we start messing around with our Java code. So we'll set the characters with some health, and whenever you click these buttons, it's going to start reducing their health. So we'll start, yeah, we'll do that in the next video. Yeah, so we'll just quickly go over what we've done. So we've introduced these linear layouts. We popped in some images and some buttons, and if we go to our main activity, we've changed the content from this activity to this activity, layout 2. Like I said, if we go to main activity Java, it's now displaying layout 2 in our emulator. Yeah, so on our next video we'll set up some health, and we get these buttons doing something as well. Okay, thanks for watching.